FAB-Racing.
MotoTeam, and these bikes usually put in with the pit bike 140s. However, this time around, Trystan, we see them out there on their own, which I'm sure they will be delighted with.
Absolutely, it means we can focus on them a little bit more as well. The pit bike normally running, like you say, with the pit bike 140s. So to be able to see the MotoTeam and see all the action in the MotoTeam will be brilliant. 12 riders on the MotoTeam grid this weekend, so quite a turnout for the MotoTeam, and it's going to be all about Jason Pugh on that baby blue number 8 bike, who's lining up on pole position, and he's going to be looking to make the most of an absent Will Howarth. But of course, the number 133 Simon Clowes isn't able to ride this weekend, but because this is a team class, he has elected Tony Campana to be able to ride that bike for him and pick up points for the number 133 of Simon Clowes. But Jason Pugh then it is that lines up on pole position ahead of the number 7 of Ian Jackson. Neil Kinnaird in 3rd spot ahead of the number 133 of Tony Campana on Simon Clowes' bike there in 4th spot. Fraser Kinnaird in 5th ahead of Vince Bailey in 6th. Alistair Kinnaird is in 7th spot just ahead of Mark Pollitt on the number 65. Gus Milling on the number 36 bike, he's in 9th spot ahead of Ian Todd. Phil Mapplebeck in 11th ahead of Philip Joyce on the number 119 machine in 12th, and rounding out your grid is the number 46 rather of Reese Todd Brown in 13th spot, and rounding out your grid for this race 1 for the Moto team. It's quite strange saying Moto team without putting a pit bike 140 ahead of it, but I'm excited to see what these guys are going to be showing us in this race, and how that battle for the championship is going to be playing out.
Yeah, it is a big weekend for Jason Pugh with no Simon Clowes, although he does of course pick up points with Tony Campana picking up points for him on that 133. It is a big weekend for Jason Pugh as he rolls into 1st position on the 8. Now, as you say, that baby blue and red bike. The 133 of Simon Clowes' bike, ridden by Tony Campana, is currently leading the championship. Will Howarth had taken the lead, leaving Ella Park, but it is close between the pair of them. Jason Pugh, however, will be looking at taking the championship lead, leaving this weekend as they get ready to look to the lights as we get ready for the first race of the weekend here on the Moto Team. Lights on, lights off, and once again down towards turn 1. Jason Pugh gets a good launch, but off of 3rd position there. You can see that was Neil Kinnaird trying to go up the inside of Ian Jackson, not quite able to get the move done. Ian Jackson on that pit bike looking bike, however, it is restricted to a 125, so it is the same pace as the rest of these bikes. Gets up alongside Jason Pugh. Jason Pugh just weaving the bike side to side there, maybe just trying to find some extra tyre temperatures early in this one, but he's going to go wide, and that's going to open the door. He tries to cut back and close the door on Ian Jackson, but Ian Jackson's going to have the inside line, but Jason Pugh just holding on to the lead of this one. But yeah, the leader's going side by side there into turn 6 at Stewart, and who gets the run on exit? It looks as though we might see almost a dead heat. They're still side by side, and they're now being joined by 2 other bikes. We can see that is Neil Kinnaird and Tony Campana battling out for lead, but you can see a brilliant start, Jason Pugh, but he's got Ian Jackson swarming all over him.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant stuff for these guys, and now takes the race lead as Neil also goes into the first corner, tries to go up the inside of Jason Pugh there, but it's Ian Jackson who's holding on to that race lead at the moment. But a brilliant battle brewing between all these guys quite close at the moment, using every inch of the track. There was the number 7 of Ian Jackson.
Yeah, and Ian Jackson, we've just heard from Race Control, with a 3-second time penalty for a jump start. So Ian Jackson currently under threat of dropping all the way down to 7th position. That's just how close it is at the moment in the Moto team, and this is what I like about the fact that we've got the Moto teams on their own, is that usually when we see them surrounded by pit bikes, they all spread out and we tend to not really see them fighting each other. Now they're all together on track. You can see the top 7 all split by 1.7 seconds across the line last time around. So this is much better from what we see from the Moto team class.
Yeah, absolutely. It's brilliant to see all these guys battling it out, and to be seeing it all the time as well, as the number 7 of Ian Jackson still leading this one. But like you say, 3-7-second lead at the moment because of that jump start that he had earlier on in the race. So what he really needs to do is to be putting the hammer down and trying to clear off as much as he can to try and finish as high up as he can in this race. Of course, he won't know that he's got a 3-second penalty at the moment in this one, so possibly trying to play it clever at the moment and stay in front of Jason Pugh. But really what he needs to be doing is trying to really really put the hammer down and get as much of a gap as he can, because that 3-second penalty will put him down to 5th place in this race as it stands. But of course, as the race goes on, those gaps will stretch out. Of course, still 10 laps to go in this race. Ian Jackson did set the fastest lap of the race on that last lap, but Jason Pugh all over the back of him. So Jason Pugh currently 2nd place on track, but as results stand, will be 1st place in this race.
Yeah, Ian Jackson, who took the race 3 win at Ella Park and 2 second places in race 1 and race 2, had a good weekend, but maybe not started the right way this time around. With that penalty, it is going to allow Jason Pugh, who can just sit with him, but you know, if you're Jason Pugh, and we know exactly what he's like, we often see him on circuit fighting with Simon Clowes, who unfortunately cannot be racing this weekend. We do send our best wishes to Simon. Hopefully his arm does recover after an incident at Ella Park, and he gets back on the bike 2 weeks time in Red Lodge. But you can see it does allow Jason Pugh, who goes purple last time around, a 57 flat, 0.3 of a second faster than your race leader Ian Jackson, and he's just staying in the tracks of that pit bike looking bike up ahead of him. But Jason Pugh doing a good job at the moment, leading this way, and in fact getting very close indeed, just putting the feelers out there, just seeing where Ian gets a little bit uncomfortable on the braking.
Yeah, absolutely so. He's just trying to see if he can make a move stick. Of course, Jason Pugh won't know that Ian Jackson has a 3-second penalty, so he's looking to try and battle as hard as he can to try and get this race win away from the number 7 of Ian Jackson, and he's going to be looking to do absolutely all he can to get past the number 7. He thinks he's going to be having to get past him for the win of this race. Neil Kinnaird also doing a brilliant job down there in 3rd place. The number 133 there that we're just looking at now, riding on behalf of Simon Clowes this weekend. Simon Clowes Racing essentially is there for Tony Campana, who's scoring points for Simon Clowes this weekend. Of course, this championship being a team championship, so as long as he's registered as the same team, he's down to be scoring points for Simon Clowes. But that's Jason Pugh now with a brilliant move there, who's just taken the lead in this MotoTeam race. He had the lead anyway, technically, due to that 3-second penalty that Ian Jackson has, but now he has the lead on circuit as well, and I'm sure that'll feel real good for the number 8, who's just heading into the first corner. 7 laps still to go in this race, as we just look at the battle a little bit further back there between Alistair Kinnaird and Ian Todd. They're battling out further back for 9th and 10th. Also Phil Mappelbeck in that battle as well. So battles brewing all through this field here at Rowrah. It's round 6 and it's race 1 here for the MotoTeam, and a brilliant battle out the front. But Pugh just half a second lead he has now over Ian Jackson. So Ian Jackson with that time penalty currently sat in 2nd on track.
Yeah, as we see the 36 of Gus Milling, Alistair Kinnaird and Ian Todd now all fighting over 8th position, and Gus Milling having moved up 1 position after starting in 9th, now finds himself in 8th. Alistair Kinnaird in 9th position, and Ian Todd dropping down to 10th position after being passed by Alistair last time around. But it is Jason Pugh who's now getting faster and faster. Now he's got to the front, he is starting to open up a bit of a lead. He's just gone purple once again, a 56.607, fastest lap of the race for the number 8, and he is currently just under a second ahead of Ian Jackson, who of course is setting on that 3-second time penalty. Neil Kinnaird currently in 3rd place, and it says Simon Clowes, but it is Tony Campana riding on behalf of Simon Clowes Racing in 4th place. Mark Pollitt has moved up very nicely from 8th all the way up into 5th, ahead of Fraser Kinnaird. He's jumped on that last lap, and but is still Jason Pugh leading away and doing a good job. And we said that this was the weekend that Jason Pugh needed to rack in the points if he is to take a lead in this championship. It's looking as though if he can pick up 25 points for this one, he jumps into the championship, or might just be actually just behind the 133, with Tony Campana currently picking up enough points to just hold off Jason Pugh. However, you've got to think that number 8 has definitely got his eyes on leaving Rowrah with the championship lead.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's exactly what he's going to be want to be doing here at Rowrah. He's been all the rounds so far, has the number 8 of Jason Pugh, and has been putting in some consistent podium finishes and always at the front of this MotoTeam category. Looking further back again at the battle further back with Ian Todd and Gus Milling in there as well. Also the number 5 of Alistair Kinnaird a bit further in front of those guys. So battle between all these guys brewing here at Rowrah for race 1 in this MotoTeam category. Brilliant start from brilliant start to the weekend it will be for the number 8 of Jason Pugh. Ian Jackson setting the fastest lap of the race on that last lap. Of course, doesn't know he's got a time penalty though.
No, he doesn't. So it's going to be fascinating to see if he can put the pressure on Jason Pugh late in this one as they come across the line to start. 4 laps left to go in this first MotoTeam race of the weekend here at Cumbria Kart Circuit in Rowrah. And we welcome you to Saturday afternoon, the first afternoon session. And we have plenty more racing tomorrow, but it's going to be currently Jason Pugh in this one. The MotoTeam class as they go around to lap one of the bikes, but we've got 3.5 laps left in this one. Jason Pugh leading from Ian Jackson. Neil Kinnaird has now fallen just out of range of Ian Jackson, so if Ian Jackson manages to hold on to this pace, he might just about hold on to second place.
Yeah, it's looking so as he's got a 3-second lead over Neil Kinnaird in third spot. So he's just about looking to be able to hold on to that second place despite the time penalty from that jump start earlier on in this race. But he's going to be looking to try and get past Jason Pugh. He's going to be thinking that he's got a chance of winning this race. But unless he can get past Pugh and pull out a 3-second lead, which is highly unlikely, then he'll be in second place in this race. But plenty of laps left for Ian Jackson to make sure he's got that 3-second lead over Alistair Kinnaird, Neil Kinnaird rather, who's in third place in this race as they come round to some lap traffic, making their way through these slower riders. A little bit nice and smoothly done there from the number 8 of Jason Pugh as Ian Jackson goes up the inside there of the number 19 of Philip Joyce in third place in this race, and in 12th place in this race rather, and just rolling around in this one and enjoying this Rowrah Kart Circuit here in West Cumbria. There is then number 7 of Ian Jackson using all the track there on the exit of that corner, doing all he can to finish as high as he can with that 3-second time penalty. But like we said, looking comfortable to pick up second in this one.
Yep, as Jason Pugh comes on to the penultimate lap of this one, the first race of the weekend for the Moto teams, who are enjoying their first race out there on their own without the bother of the pit bike 140s or the extreme 200s on circuits. As we can see some of the riders just being lapped there. That's the 19 of Phil Mapplebeck, who's now just very nicely getting to side and allowing the likes of Neil Kinnaird to get through, and then you've got Tony Campana in 4th position still, so picking up some good points for Simon Clowes Racing in Simon's hunt for a championship. Of course, he is the current reigning champion in this Moto team class, and he'll be hoping at holding on to it. But with the likes of Jason Pugh looking as though he might be picking up some good points in this one, you've definitely got to think that Simon's got some work to do when he gets himself back on that bike.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jason Pugh in the perfect position for his championship fight as they go on to start the final lap for race 1 here for the Moto team. The first time we've seen all these bikes go around in a category completely by themselves, with no pit bike 140s for them to contend with in this one. And it's been a brilliant ride for the number 8 at the front on that baby blue bike for Jason Pugh. But Ian Jackson in second place, despite that time penalty that he had earlier on. He will still be finishing in second place as he's a good 3.5 seconds ahead of anyone else at the moment in this race. But Jason Pugh is then that's going to be taking this win as he heads into the final section of this Rowrah Kart Circuit, through the penultimate corner for the final time, down into Paddock Bend for the final time for race 1 here for the Moto team. And Jason Pugh that's going to take the win, takes the checkered flag. A brilliant race win there from Jason Pugh. Ian Jackson takes second place and will be 3 seconds ahead of Neil Kinnaird there. So yeah, definitely 3 seconds ahead of Neil Kinnaird there as he finishes 4.2 seconds ahead of the 83. So Ian Jackson it will be that takes second place in this race, despite that time penalty that he had from that jump start. Jason Pugh though with a brilliant race win, and that's brilliant for his championship, with Tony Campana finishing down in 4th spot in there on behalf of the number 133 of Simon Clowes. Yep,
brilliant race there for the 8 of Jason Pugh. Managed to lose the lead off the line to Ian Jackson, but managed to wrestle it back and up into the lead of this one. But he is your race winner ahead of Ian Jackson. Even with that 3-second time penalty, Ian Jackson finishes in second position. But it is Jason Pugh that leads the Moto team and takes the first win on the weekend for the MotoTeam class ahead of Ian Jackson in second. Neil Kinnaird holding on to third, just about managing to jump ahead of Simon Clowes Racing, which is actually Tony Campana in fourth position. Mark Pollitt moving up to fifth with Fraser Kinnaird in sixth. Vince Bailey in seventh with Alistair Kinnaird in eighth. Then Gus Milling in ninth. Ian Todd rounding out your top 10 with Phil Malferbeck, Phil Joyce and Reece Todd Brown finishing outside the top 10 in 11th, 12th and 13th. And a good race, and exactly what we were thinking Jason Pugh needed to do was to finish ahead of everyone else and start picking up some points, and doing a good job here in really good job for Jason Pugh. He holds on to the lead, or just about behind the lead of the championship.
But it's Jason Pugh then who's going to be on pole position on the number 8 machine, picking up that penalty yesterday, but still finishing on the podium. Ian Jackson, it will be in second place ahead of Neil Kinnaird in third. Tony Campana scoring points for Simon Clowes in fourth spot on the grid. Fraser Kinnaird is fifth place on the grid ahead of Vince Bailey in sixth. Alistair Kinnaird as well in seventh there, just ahead of Mark Pollitt, rounding out row 4. Gus Milling will be on ninth spot on the grid with Ian Todd rounding out your top 10 on the number 40. And that's Philip Malferbeck in 11th, ahead of Phil Joyce and Reece Todd Brown rounding out your grid in this one. But that's the number 65 of Mark Pollitt, who's got a problem there on that machine. So really unlucky for the number 65 of Mark Pollitt, having a problem before the race has even started. So looks as if he's going to be walking that bike back to pit lane. Yeah,
not an ideal start to race 2 for Mark Pollitt, who would have been starting in 8th position. So that opens the door for Ian Todd to have a slightly cleaner run. Watch out for the trio of Kinnairds. You've got Alistair, Fraser and Neil all in a train from 3rd, 5th and 7th, and they've been very quick so far. They've all picked up podiums so far this season, so the trio of Kinnaird brothers will be looking at picking up some good results. However, the blue and red bike of Jason Pugh, the number 8, will be looking at taking the championship lead away from Simon Clowes Racing of Tony Campana Senior, who will be starting from 4th on the grid on the 133 bike with the orange accent wheels as they get ready to look to the lights. Lights on. Waiting for the lights as they extinguish and head us down towards turn 1. A great start from Ian Jackson. He squeezes Jason Pugh to the inside line, and Jason just having to get off the throttle for a slight second there. It cost him the race lead, and up into second position there goes Neil Kinnaird and Tony Campana Senior in 4th place as they go round McRae's hairpin for the first time. Brilliant stuff from Ian Jackson. Very aggressively cut the nose off from Jason Pugh.
Yeah, real tactical from Ian Jackson into the first corner, making sure there was no way through for Jason Pugh to get through. Got a good start. See quite a few people creeping on the start there, so we're going to have to wait and see if anything happens with that one. Of course, Jason Pugh did pick up a race start, a jump start yesterday, and he suffered a 3-second penalty yesterday, but looking as if all these riders are away cleanly in this one as Tony Campana looks up the inside there of Neil Kinnaird. So Tony Campana looking to pick up as many points in the championship for Simon Clowes. Of course, his sights will be set on Jason Pugh because it's that battle in the championship between Simon Clowes and Jason Pugh. Of course, no Will Howarth here this weekend as well, with Jason Pugh in second place in this race. Ian Jackson flying away at the front of this one. Will anyone be able to catch him?
Well, he's doing a brilliant job to start off this one, and in fact last time around Neil Kinnaird set the fastest lap of 101.626, and Jason Pugh there just trying to get back past Neil Kinnaird, who managed to get past him in towards McRae's hairpin, and so now Jason Pugh falling down the order. This is not going to help. The gap between Jason Pugh and Simon Clowes in the championship is there's an unfortunate Mark Pollitt just sitting. In fact, he's got a probably the box seat to watch this race here, as he can watch from all angles, but unfortunately not involved in this one. But yeah, Jason Pugh only 2 points behind Simon Clowes in the championship, so he's going to need to be picking up more points, and at the moment he's only 1 place ahead of Simon Clowes, who is of course is Tony Campana in this one. But yeah, Jason Pugh needs to be picking up race wins to take a decent lead going into Red Lodge, because you've got to think that Simon will be wanting to be back. We might even see Will Howarth and get a trio going towards the final 2 rounds of the season. Yeah,
absolutely so. And Will Howarth, if he does return, will be scaring all the MotoTeam riders, as we know what a dominant force he is in this MotoTeam category. When he's around, no one else can quite catch him. He's in a bit of a league of his own, is Will Howarth, but it's Ian Jackson who's in a league of his own in this one, flying away at the front, looking a little bit further back there at some of these riders. The number 369 of Vince Bailey having a battle there with the number 3 of Fraser Kinnaird. That's the battle for 5th place going on. So battles all through this MotoTeam field. You can also see Alistair Kinnaird in there as well on the number 5 machine with the blue bike. So battles going on all through this field as Vince Bailey defends that 5th spot from the number 3 of Fraser Kinnaird. Kinnaird all through this race, but the quickest one at the moment in 2nd place in this race as he makes his way up ahead of Tony Campana, who's representing Simon Clowes this weekend.
Yeah, so Tony Campana Senior, they're getting ahead of Jason Pugh, but Pugh's going to try and go around the outside, but the door is firmly shut in his face. So Tony Campana getting past Jason Pugh. So this is working perfectly for Simon Clowes Racing, because he's managing to, well, with this, holding on to the lead in the championship. So Tony Campana Senior doing a brilliant job so far. He started to put some real pace in. He finished in 4th yesterday, but he's now looking at the back end of Neil Kinnaird for 2nd place. Out the front, Ian Jackson is checking out 4 seconds up the road, and on that slightly different looking bike. It looks like a pit bike, but it is actually restricted to 125 like the rest of these motor teams.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a 125cc pit bike, so it does fall into the regulations of MotoTeam, with all these bikes being 125cc 4 strokes or 50cc 2 strokes. As Tony Campana looks up the inside of Kinnaird there, can't quite make a move stick. Jason Pugh now looking menacing on the rear wheel of the number 133. Of course, Jason Pugh is going to be thinking about his championship, because of course he sees that number 133 and he sees red, because that's going to be his championship rival in this race, as he uses all the track there on the exit of the hairpin, going down into the other hairpin with the number 133 of Tony Campana representing Simon Clowes, doing a brilliant job to score more points than Jason Pugh in this one. But it's going to be a battle till the end of this race, with 8 laps still to go in this MotoTeam race.
Yeah, this is working out perfectly. Ian Jackson, who can just get on with his own race, with this battle for 2nd position going on behind, as Tony Campana Senior trying to hold on to the position. We've got 8 laps left to go. Down the inside goes Jason Pugh. A very late lunge. In fact, arm up there from Jason Pugh. Oh, sorry, I didn't realise we were going to touch there. But
well, he says sorry, but he doesn't give the position back.
No. Why would you? That's your championship rival. But you can see hard racing here as they went panel to panel through Sunny Bend. But now Jason Pugh gets back on it, and this has cost Tony Campana Senior a little bit of time here. I'm sure he'll be slightly aggrieved by that move.
Yeah, it's definitely close racing in this one. Nothing too harsh. Firm but fair, I think we can call that move. But a brilliant move done there by Jason Pugh, and he does lift an arm up in apology. But that is racing, and we will see moves like that all throughout these classes. As Jason Pugh now, his sights will be set on Neil Kinnaird. Will he be able to take 2nd place in this race? The number 133 Simon Clowes being Tony Campana representing Simon Clowes in this race, is going to be trying to get back onto the back wheel of Jason Pugh and finish in front of him and return the favour, as Jason Pugh looks up the inside of Neil Kinnaird. Can't quite make a move stick there. We saw him make a move 1 lap ago there on Tony Campana and just pushed him wide on the exit there. But will he be able to do the same to Neil Kinnaird? Right onto the back wheel of him now. He really wants this 2nd place to pick up as many points as he can. Almost contact there as they go into turn 2. So a real determined Jason Pugh in this race.
Yeah, Jason Pugh clearly making notes after watching Ryan Hitchcock in that LC40 Elite class, trying to find moves anywhere on the circuits, and just sticking a tyre in. Lucky to not tag the rear wheel of Neil Kinnaird there, who I'm sure wouldn't have been very happy at all. That is the 3 of Fraser Kinnaird battling with Vince Bailey over 5th position. The 369 of Vince Bailey, who we've seen out on the sidecars as well, so expect to see the sidecar action later in the day. They'll be out last up both in this session and in the afternoon session, and they will be the sidecars are a lot of fun. But down the inside goes Jason Pugh once again. Contact between the pair, and Jason Pugh's going to try and run around the outside. He's tried that move twice now, hasn't quite come off. And Jason Pugh, as he gets up the inside, does he get the run out the final corner as a cross gun? Fraser Kinnaird cuts the nose off of Jason Pugh, runs onto the dirt, and that's going to allow Jason Pugh up the inside. It's all going on up the inside. Goes Tony Campana Senior up into 3rd position, and that all got a bit hot and tasty there. Yeah,
brilliant bit of racecraft there from Tony Campana. He saw that there was something going on ahead of him, and that Kinnaird was running wide, took advantage of it. He didn't need any second invitation, got right ahead of Neil Kinnaird there. So a brilliant battle brewing here for for second place. Ian Jackson well up the road, but it's all about this battle for second place. Now Campana right on the rear wheel of Pugh, so he's going to be looking to return the favour of that move that was made earlier on. Still 5 laps to go in this race, and up the inside goes the number 133 Tony Campana, but Jason Pugh tries everything he can to keep that second place, but can't quite fend off the number 133 of Tony Campana, representing Simon Clowes this weekend. So this is your battle for the championship between the number 133 team and the number 8 team.
4 laps to go. It's Ian Jackson leading away from this trio of Simon Clowes Racing, which is Tony Campana Senior, Jason Pugh and Neil Kinnaird, who's fallen off the back a little bit, maybe just a little bit shaken up after that almost a bit of a fall with Jason Pugh earlier on. But you can see as they navigate some lap traffic, that's Reece Todd Brown who is they've just got past there. But Jason Pugh now trying to get back on to the rear wheel of Tony Campana, chasing down the 133, and it's the battle for the championship lead here of the baby blue and red bike and the white and the brown with the orange wheels of Simon Clowes Racing, the 133. And Simon Clowes, I'm sure, will be watching this from the sideline, probably with his hands across his face, watching between his fingertips, with hoping that he can pick up the points to take the championship lead going into Red Lodge in 2 weeks' time. However, Jason Pugh is very much not giving up, with 3 laps left to go in this one. And if you're watching at home, make sure you give us a like, a share, a subscribe, and equally get into the comments. Let us know, where's this one going to go? Are we going to see the 133 finish ahead of the 8, or will we see Jason Pugh get that move done late on in this race? We've already seen him make a move twice into turn 8 at Sunny Bend, and you've got to think he's going to have to eye up one more time. He's going to want that class, or he's going to want that class lead leaving this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And Simon Clowes assured us earlier on this weekend that as the weekend goes on, Tony Campana would get quicker and quicker as he gets used to that bike. As of course didn't have the Friday practice, so was getting used to the bike yesterday and really coming into his own on that bike in this weekend, and really sticking the championship battle to the number 8 of Jason Pugh. But Jason Pugh looking so racy in this race, is really determined in this one. Still 2 laps to go in this race, and it looks as if they're closing down Ian Jackson now, so this could become a battle for the win. The gap has come down to 1.8 seconds now, and it was a good 4.5 seconds at one point. So Jason Pugh with the fastest lap of the race on that last lap. Equally, Tony Campana setting a very similar pace on that number 133 bike, and you can visibly see they're really closing in the race leader now. So with 2 laps to go, will they be able to catch him and get back past? Because of course catching him is one thing, but then getting past is a very another thing.
It is, but they are catching him at a rate of knots, and Ian Jackson possibly slowing for some reason, because they're going to catch him by the end of this lap if they continue at this speed. But is this just a case of him just easing off the throttle a little bit and saving the bike? But you're going to think it was 1.8 seconds across the line last time around. They're closing in as Jason Pugh is going to go to the outside using the runoff, but not quite able to get the cutback on Simon Clowes Racing and Tony Campana as they come on to the final lap across the line. The gap's only at 1.2 seconds. We've got 1 lap left to go, just 9 corners of this Rowrah circuit at Cumbria Kart Circuit, and into the hairpin at McRae's goes Ian Jackson, and it looks as though with the 2 behind battling over position, there's kicking up water on the exit, and that's not going to, I'm sure everyone behind is not going to help that at all. It's almost like a deflection technique to stop everyone following you. But behind, you can see Ian Jackson just taking a glance behind. He knows that gap has really come down. The battle is still very much going on for second position with Tony Campana Senior and Jason Pugh as they come up to some lap traffic. Ian Jackson just looking behind him almost at every turn, concerned that he's going to get closed in. You can see the gap really coming down. This might be the last chance for Jason Pugh. He's going to go to the outside line. Will he hold on to it? He's going to have to take the inside going into the final corner. He's almost on the grass. They're alongside each other. Just about holds on to second position, and across the line, Ian Jackson punching the air with Tony Campana second, just holding off Jason Pugh, who did everything to get past him. But brilliant racing from the 133 and from the 8. Neil Kinnaird in 4th. What a race there from the championship rivals.
What an incredible race there from all of these guys. Ian Jackson set a really good early pace out the front, but Tony Campana and Jason Pugh just absolutely put the hammer down late in that race, despite Ian Jackson setting his fastest lap at the end. they still managed to catch him, so you can only think what they would have been able to do if they could set that pace earlier on in this race. But a brilliant race win from Ian Jackson, then controlled the race at the front beautifully, and some brilliant racing all through that field between Tony Campana and Jason Pugh. But Ian Jackson celebrating that victory, and a brilliant victory it was there for the number 7 machine. Looks more like a pit bike, but is in the MotoTeam regulations a 125cc pit bike underneath Ian Jackson there, on the number 7 machine. So a brilliant victory for him ahead of the number 1 through 3 and the number 8. So that battle in the championship now brewing up really nicely as well. Simon Clowes will be happy with that performance, but it was Ian Jackson that took the win by 0.8 of a second over Tony Campana, representing Simon Clowes. Jason Pugh in 3rd ahead of the two Kinnairds 4th and 5th. Vince Bailey it was who took 6th place ahead of Alistair Kinnaird down in 7th place, Ian Todd in 8th, Gus Milling in 9th, and the number 19 of Phil Mapplebeck in 10th place in that race.
Brilliant race. Really enjoyed that one, and it's brilliant to see the moto teams out there on circuit being able to fight with each other.
We had everything in that last race, from passes, contact being made, riders running wide, a runaway leader. They even caught the leader towards the end of it, and expect this race to be very exciting indeed. And of course, that championship battle between Jason Pugh and the team of Simon Clowes hotting up very nicely indeed.
It is indeed, but it was Ian Jackson that took the race to win. Jason Pugh was a lot of fun to watch in race 2, so if you've missed it, make sure you check it all back on the social media channels. Of course, you can watch it on FAB-Racing's YouTube and Facebook page, and of course everything associated with motorsport.radio, as we watch the final race of the weekend in the MotoTeam class, with Jason Pugh lining up on the pole position ahead of Ian Jackson, the race 2 race winner. Neil Kinnaird in 3rd, with the 133 of Simon Clowes Racing being raced by Tony Campana Senior in 4th position. Fraser Kinnaird in 5th, with Vince Bailey back in 6th. Row 4 is Alistair Kinnaird and Mark Pollitt, who was unable to make the start in race 2, with Gus Billing back in 9th and Ian Todd in 10th. Outside the top 10 on row 6, we've got Phil Mapplebeck in 11th, with Phil Joyce in 12th, and Reece Todd Brown rounds out the grid in 13th position. Now, MotoTeam, as you said, now that they've had this race on their own this weekend, I'm sure they're going to be pleading to Roger Keys, the race director, can we have this every time, because it's been so much fun just being able to battle with each other. Absolutely so, and I'm definitely in favour of them having their own race, because it's been so entertaining for us to watch, and it's given us an opportunity to completely focus on MotoTeam as well, because of course when they're out there with the Pit Bike 140s, it's a massive grid with both the Pit Bike 140s and the MotoTeam, and you focus on Pit Bike 140s, you focus a little bit on MotoTeam, and you can't give one your complete attention. But now just being able to focus on these guys has been absolutely brilliant this weekend, and they've provided us with some real entertaining racing. And now for the final race of the weekend for the MotoTeam, there's going to be a real exciting one. Of course, that battle for the championship hotting up really nicely, with no Will Howarth here this weekend, but their eyes are to the lights for race 3, the final race of the weekend for the MotoTeam. The lights are on and the lights are off, and they're away here. Bit of a slow start there for Ian Jackson as Jason Pugh takes the lead down into turn 1, and it's Neil Kinnaird up into 3rd spot. So Ian Jackson running over the inside curb going through turn 3. They're all through the first set of corners nice and cleanly. Ian Jackson up the inside going into the hairpin, but Jason Pugh gets the cut back. Will that let Neil Kinnaird have a go at Ian Jackson? Not quite close enough. Jason Pugh goes real defensive down into Iredale's hairpin for the first time. So all these riders away nice and cleanly. Battles going on all the way through this field. The number 133 representing Simon Clowes this weekend, Tony Campana, right on the back of these guys. He's going to be looking to pick up a win if he can and score as many points for Simon Clowes as he can. But it's Jason Pugh who leads on this opening lap, and this is looking to be a brilliant battle that's going to be brewing here as Ian Jackson has a look at Neil Kinnaird, who's now moved up into 2nd place in this race. So absolute drama at the beginning of these races between all these guys, swapping and changing positions ready, and expect to see that as the race goes on. Yeah, brilliant stuff for Neil Kinnaird, and he's now looking at the back of Jason Pugh for the race lead. And Neil, who got battered and bruised around in race 2, and in fact he might come under threat from Ian Jackson on that pit bike looking machine on the 7 just behind Neil Kinnaird's 83 bike. Neil Kinnaird, who went fastest last time around, is starting to get a good run on Jason Pugh as they go down towards the hairpin. In fact, he's going to take the inside line. Will the cutback be available for Jason Pugh? It is. So Jason just gets the under and over and back up into the lead this one. But a nice sighter move there for Neil Kinnaird, just trying to find where the overtaking options are. But you can see we've got a little bit of a breakaway quadruped at the moment with you've got Jason Pugh, you've got Ian Jackson, you've got Neil Kinnaird and Simon Clowes racing. As we said, it's being raced by Tony Campana, and he now gets himself up into third position. So I'm sure Simon will be watching on the sideline with that, of course, out this weekend with an arm injury. He'll be watching and very much clapping Tony Campana moving up into the podium positions, because of course this is a brilliant run for Simon. He's looking at picking up a second consecutive championship win here in the MotoTeam class with Jason Pugh leading. That's the last thing he wants. He needs Tony Campana to be closing in on Ian Jackson on Neil Kinnaird and Jason Pugh. But yeah, podium is a good result so far.
Absolutely so. I mean, Simon Clowes assured us earlier in the weekend that Tony Campana will get quicker and quicker as the weekend went on, and he's proving to be correct as Tony Campana in that battle for the win in this race 3 for the MotoTeam race. But Neil Kinnaird now looking to try and get up in front of Jason Pugh. Jason Pugh goes real defensive, making sure there's no way through for Neil Kinnaird. He tried to go around the long way round, but Jason Pugh wasn't having any of it, riding a real defensive ride as Tony Campana on the 1-3 goes up the inside of Neil Kinnaird now. So now his sights are going to be set on Jason Pugh and doing all he can for Simon Clowes in this championship. Of course, as we've been saying all weekend, this is a team class, so any rider that's representing that team will be scoring points for Simon Clowes, and the number 1-3 of Tony Campana in this one is down on the timing screens as Simon Clowes, as he is scoring points for Simon, and he will be racking up the points for Simon in this one as Simon is out with injury. He looks to the outside of Jason Pugh. Jason Pugh going real defensive. His only vision at the moment is to make sure he can keep these guys behind him in this race. You can see he's going real defensive into every corner, but Tony Campana tries to go round the outside, going down into the far end of the circuit. Can't quite make that move stick. There's not a lot of room on the exit of there, so he's going to have to try and find his way up the inside of Jason Pugh and surprise him somewhat.
Yeah, this is brilliant. I love seeing these MotoTeam bikes out on circuit together, allowing them the opportunity of fighting, not having to worry about any of the pit bikes coming past and having to give way to any of the leaders. They can just go out there with hammer and tong and really go for it. And at the moment it's Jason Pugh leading from the 1-3 of Dave Campana for Simon Clowes Racing. Neil Kinnaird and Ian Jackson last time round, who did the fastest lap of the race of 57.441, as the top four all lapped within about 0.3 of a second of each other. And you can see they've already broken away from Fraser Kinnaird in 5th position, 3.9 seconds back to Fraser. So Fraser unable to stay with this lead battle, and it's going to go right down to the wire. Of course, we've got 7.5 laps left to go in this one. You can see Dave Campana having a quick glance over his shoulder to see where Neil Kinnaird was, and it's currently down in 3rd position, and Neil trying to find every opportunity to get back up into 2nd place. And Neil's had a really good run so far this weekend, a couple of really good results and podiums, and looking, well, at the moment, still in the hunt for the race win.
Yeah, absolutely so. He's in this battle. It's a 4-rider battle for this race win. Of course, Ian Jackson currently in 4th, won your race later on, but Jason Pugh doing such a good job. He's making himself as wide as possible on that baby blue number 8, trying to cover his lines completely. He's wide where he needs to be wide, he's tight where he needs to be tight and defensive, and doing a brilliant job to make sure that Tony Campana can't find a way past. You saw Tony Campana make his way through on Neil Kinnaird, but it's not quite as easy as making his way through on Jason Pugh. But Neil Kinnaird there with the fastest lap of the race on that last lap, but all these riders all setting identical lap times on that last lap, all in the 57.1s. Ian Jackson slightly off the place with a 57.4, but still right on the back of these guys. So it's still a 4-way battle for the lead in this race, with 7 laps to go in this race 3 for the MotoTeam race. So expect to see some elbow bashing. This is the calm before the storm. All these riders just eyeing each other up, just seeing whether each are weak, as Neil Kinnaird gets a brilliant drive out of the penultimate corner, down into the final corner through Paddock Bend, makes a move stick on the number 1-3 of Tony Campana. Brilliant move there, just took advantage of a slow drive there from the number 1-3.
Yep, and up into 2nd position goes Neil Kinnaird, and he will be now putting his eyes firmly set on Jason Pugh, but Tony Campana will not want to give up that 2nd position. Ian Jackson Jackson, the race winner in race 2, will be looking at coming back and getting himself involved in this. He went fastest last time around, so they're trading fastest lap times with every lap. It was a 56.891, and he kind of all three, both Jason Pugh, Neil Canet and Ian Jackson, matching each other's times though to within 300ths of a second. So they are really evenly matched. So it's all going to be on who is bravest under braking into some of these corners. We know that Jason Pugh was very vociferous in the way that he was defending earlier on and trying to get past some of the other riders, but he's doing a good job at the moment holding on to the lead of this one. He's just letting the trio behind battle out between the three of them, and they are all part of round 6 of the FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship MotoTeam class here from Cumbria Kart Circuit in the Lake District in Cumbria, and we have had a brilliant weekend's racing. Just a few more races left to go after this one. The MKGP 70s are next up, and then finally we finish with the Mini F1 sidecars, and then we head off to Red Lodge in 2 weeks' time over in Suffolk. However, for the time being, it's Jason Pugh in the MotoTeam class that will be focusing very much on what's going on ahead of him, hoping to take the championship lead going into Red Lodge as you come up to a little bit of lap traffic. Now, will this hamper any of the riders around? You can see it's going to hold up Dave Campana a little bit there. So Dave Campana getting caught behind the traffic, and that's cost him around about half a second. So if you're Neil Kinnaird, that worked out quite nicely. Yeah, a couple of bike lengths between Kinnaird and Campana now. So absolutely not what Campana wanted in this race, but he's going to have to get his head down with 4 laps to go in this race and try and close back down to Neil Kinnaird and Jason Pugh, who are at the front of this race, and of course just defending from Ian Jackson at the moment. And yeah, so it's a great race so far, as we've got a slow bike there into the hairpin for one of the lap bikes, so possibly Reece Top Brown, who was a little bit slow into the hairpin at McRae's at turn 4, and but it is Jason Pugh still leading away from Neil Kinnaird. Simon Clowes Racing, the 133, still holding on to a podium finish, and as you said, we were told by Simon that Simon Campana would be getting quicker and quicker and quicker, and he's holding on to a podium position, which is going to allow Simon some very valuable points in the championship to stay with Jason Pugh, who's going to be looking at leaving this weekend with the championship lead, but it will be the slimmest of championship leads, just a few points between Simon Clowes and Jason Pugh in that championship as they come on to start. 3 laps left to go in this one, going into the opening chicane to open up the lap, and you've got to think, if you're Jason Pugh, he's got a bit of a gap now between himself and Neil Kinnaird in second, so it's just playing it safe, not pushing too hard, but getting that lap time out there. Yeah, absolutely. So he's done a brilliant job to be defending all race long. He's made himself as wide as possible on that baby blue number 8 machine. Just a little bit of a mistake there through Wilders hairpin. Has a quick look behind to see how far behind Neil Kinnaird is, but Neil Kinnaird now just coming into the clutches of the number 133 of Tony Campana, and he's just trying to do all he can to get onto the back wheel of Neil Kinnaird with 3 laps to go in this race. They're coming on to complete this lap here, so it's going to be 2 laps to go after this one, going down into the final corner, and the number 133 is doing all he can to get onto the back wheel of Kinnaird now, and he's pretty much done it, as Jason Pugh now has a commanding lead with 2 laps to go in this race. Has Jason Pugh done enough to consolidate those 25 points, 25 crucial points for this Moto Team Championship? No Will Howarth here this weekend, so he's going to lose that championship lead if he hasn't already, and Jason Pugh just extending that lead out the front now, but back marker in between Kinnaird and Tony Campana is just allowing Neil Kinnaird to just break away a little bit now, so that definitely hindered the number 133. Yeah, it really did, and that was Phil Joyce that just got himself in between the 133 and Neil Kinnaird as well, so Tony Campana unable to do anything about that, just had to stick behind it and then get the move done when the position was available, but Jason Pugh managed to get through unscathed and currently leads this one by 1.336 of a second as he cuts through some more lap traffic there as he comes around the final quarter to start the final lap of this one, as he comes up, takes the final lap board, and Jason Pugh coming up onto the final lap. Just a few more corners, 7 more corners after this opening chicane to take a win on the season and take, as you say, 25 crucial championship points away from Simon Clowes, who's got Tony Campana riding that bike for him, currently in 3rd position. Unfortunately, the gap between the top 4 has opened up a little bit, so it's starved us as what was a brilliant race too. However, Jason Pugh has ridden a really commanding race since getting to the front in this one, and is going to look pretty well nailed on for victory if he can hold on to the final few corners of this one. And the number 8 will be coming up to Sunny Bend, coming into the final 2 corners on the weekend for the MotoTeam class, as he uses all of the runoff area, coming into the final bend. The long right-hander sweeping into paddock bend and taking the checker flag is Jason Pugh. Has a look behind, there's no one there. However, Neil Kinnaird and Simon Clowes Racing, Tony Campana in 3rd position. Ian Jackson, unable to replicate his race 2 form, comes home in 4th, with Fraser Kinnaird and Vince Bailey looking to roll into position. You see thumbs up from everyone as they knew that was a good race, all battling between the 3 of them. Unfortunately, Ian Jackson unable to get himself involved in that one, but a brilliant race of your Jason Pugh.
Yeah, absolutely. A brilliant result for him. 25 crucial points for his championship in that championship battle between him and Simon Clowes. And the number 8 of Jason Pugh does take the 3rd win of the race 3 here for the Moto team. Neil Kinnaird picking up 2nd with Simon Clowes in 3rd. Ian Jackson in 4th, your race 2 winner. Alistair Kinnaird down in 5th with Vince Paley in 6th. Mark Pollitt down in 7th ahead of Alistair Kinnaird in 8th. Gus Milling in 9th and Ian Todd down in 10th place.